Maybe you've seen a few of my videos going over different pros or tournaments or specific mechanics, and you really just want to know what you should be focusing on to get yourself to a higher level. My main goal in this video is to provide something that's helpful for everyone, except for maybe the pros themselves. I'm guessing they already know most of this stuff. I want this video to be helpful for every one of you, regardless of whether you're a bronze or you're a champ level. In this video, I'm not going to focus on specific mechanics, things like wave dashing or half flipping. Those things are super important, and you can check out my video on the 10 craziest Rocket League mechanics if you're interested in that. Rather, I'm more going to talk about overall game sense and really just the stuff you should try to focus on. So I hope you guys like this one, and I hope you find it really helpful. Be sure to leave a like if you do and subscribe so that you'll know when I'm uploading. Alright, let's get into the 10 things that pro Rocket League players do. Number 10, learn how to manage your boost. There's a reason you rarely see professional players just sitting on one of the canister spots in the corner. This is because high-level Rocket League players understand that losing your momentum kills your team's momentum. Even 15 to 20 boost is enough to handle basically everything that comes your way as a player, as long as your rotations are solid. There's more to this though. Lower level players, like myself if I'm being honest, we struggle to implement getting the boost pads. Our focus is often still on having, like 80 to 100 boost, or it's at least split between getting boost and playing the ball. When you're low on boost and you're in a pressure situation, just go grab a few pads and focus on your situation and where you need to be and what you need to do. Now, this takes a ton of practice and a lot of focus at first, but after a while, I think it'll become second nature, and it's something I've been really trying to focus on as well. Number 9, learn how to use the walls. This really has to do with playing comfortably, which you never want to do. No matter how high ranked you are, no matter how good you are, there's always new things to learn. There's always new mechanics to add to your muscle memory. I guess the biggest thing is just going for those shots that make you feel uncomfortable, doing more than just hitting a simple power shot off the wall. Really, that's the only way to get better in this area, is to do things that make you uncomfortable. You need to have those blackout moments, as Kevpert always used to call them, and watch your car just sail over the ball as the other team scores. Try to not wait for the ball to be in a spot where you're comfortable, just go for it. And if there are players out there hitting a type of wall shot or clear that you're not doing, then just try it. That's the only way to learn. Number 8, watch the defender over the ball. This one is super important, but it's really hard. If you've ever wondered why players like Squishy always seem to know when to challenge and they just rarely lose challenges, I think it's because of this. Now yes, to some extent, they've just been in these situations so many times that they can gauge how far away their opponent is and whether they can beat them. But a big part of it is just learning to have the ball sort of be in your peripherals, and the other players and your teammates are really your focus. And like most of these skills in this videos, this is just something you're gonna have to go and try. But this is the fun part of Rocket League in my opinion. This is one of my favorite things to do. Just go into a match and focus on something. In this case, focus on using your camera to be more aware and try to really watch the other players instead of just focusing on the ball 24/7. And this actually leads to my next point. Number 7, learn to predict your opponent. I think that Kevpert is one of the best examples of this. And I'm pretty sure I talked about this in my video on Kevpert. He's always making these slight adjustments while he's holding the midfield or preparing to challenge. And you can tell it's because he's watching his opponent. He's not focusing on the ball, he's watching what the other team is trying to do, and he's setting himself up to be able to face whatever they do. If I'm a player preparing to challenge, I'm in that position and my teammates are behind me, I like to think of myself as like a cat preparing to pounce. And you're just sort of making those small adjustments because your senses are heightened, you're completely focused, and every movement is calculated. Now, this takes a ton of focus, but it's really one of the major things that separates lower and higher level players. Lower level players are often just sort of driving around aimlessly and not really thinking about how they're positioning themselves. And this is really the reason why teams like Gale Force are able to maintain such incredible offensive pressure. You just can't get the ball past them most of the time. Number 6, learn to hold the midfield. We often think that the most important moments in a game are when you're setting up that pass play in the other team's half, or you're going for that double touch or something. Honestly, the most important moments are right here. If you can learn to hold the midfield, you will wear your opponent down so much. Think about this as a defender. When the ball is just stuck in your half and you run out of boost, no matter what you do, you just can't get the ball out of your half because the other team's rotations are so solid. You get so worn down, mentally, that you start to make all-in decisions. You double commit, and then the other team just scores an open net. That's honestly how most goals are scored. Try this next time you play. focus on keeping the ball in your opponent's half and like just see how long you can keep it over there and see what happens. Obviously there are times when you have to concede possession and allow a clear to happen. That's just part of Rocket League. But too often players are so focused on one shot or one goal that they're not allowing their rotations to be that thing that maintains pressure. Which brings me to number 5, focus on rotations. There's obviously a lot that could be said about rotating, and I'm guessing very few players have seen Kevpert's old videos going over rotations. And if you haven't, you definitely should. They're still completely relevant in my opinion. I'll link a few of those in the description below. Kevpert talks about something called basic rotation, which basically means every player is either in the 1, 2, or 3 position if you're playing standard. I'm not going to get into everything that goes into rotation, and I don't know everything that goes into rotation honestly. What I want to do is give you something to focus on. Actually, I would just say focus on rotations. Honestly, that is one of the biggest differences between higher and lower level players. When you set up a pass, for example, are you really doing everything you can do to get back to that 2 position? When you clear the ball out of your half, do you know what position you're now in and what position your teammates are in? These are the kinds of things that I need to remind myself all the time. The other big thing is your pace. Pro players keep up their pace at all times, so the pace of their rotations is also kept up. There's little stopping or slowing down. And teams that rotate like crazy are always keeping up their pace so that it's incredibly difficult to just like get the ball past them. Number 4, spread out. Ball chasing has obviously been talked about a ton. Here I'm talking about something a little bit different, though obviously ball chasing would fit within this. It's possible to not be ball chasing technically, but still be playing too close to your teammates. You want to be covering as much of the field as possible so that your team can handle as many different scenarios as possible. So if you're playing doubles, for example, it's easy to be like, oh, I'm middle, pass it, when your teammate is also basically middle and kind of trying to set up a solo play. In that scenario, you need to just be instinctively backing up and sort of getting on the other side of the field. You never want to be creating a line going down the field. In 3s, it's more of a triangle than anything, and in 2s, it's kind of a diagonal line on the field. You rarely want to be across from each other, and you rarely want to be directly behind your teammate. Number 3, keep possession. This is super important, and I honestly catch myself screwing this up all the time. Maybe you've been in a high pressure situation, maybe the ball was in your half, and you're just getting boost starved, and you finally get that open shot. So you just clear it, kind of to just like try to get a breath basically. A great way to work on this is really to work on passing. Try to play an entire game where every shot is purposeful, and you've given your teammate time to go and attempt a shot. Being able to maintain possession is one of the key elements of a good offense. You really see this with teams like Gale Force and Vitality and NRG. They just have so much control and they're so aware of where their teammates are. It's just second nature to turn a simple clear into a pass. Number 2, focus on team plays. I've already talked about this a couple times in this video, and all of these things play into what it means to be a team player in Rocket League. Spreading out, rotating well, holding the midfield. It's all about giving up this notion that you're the key to your team's success. You have the skills, you have the moves, and you can just make things happen. Here's some really good news. You're probably not as good as you think, and that's okay, because it's actually way more effective to play as a team anyways. And I'm sure you've seen this before. Even a crappy pass play can be super effective at breaking down a defense. And if you get good at it, and you build up that chemistry with your teammates, you will honestly rank up so fast. As with everything I've gone over so far, just try it out sometime. Go play some games and make it your sole focus to set up pass plays, and just see how it goes for you. Okay, the last thing I want to leave you guys with is actually kind of a personal thing. Like, it's more about you as an individual player. I'm sure I've said this before, but you need to learn to play fast. The main difference between you and that Grand Champ is that the Grand Champ just plays faster. It's the reason he could literally drive circles around you if you 1v1'd him. And it's the reason you could literally drive circles around a lower level player. You're just faster. And there's a few things I've found that have helped me learn to play faster. The first thing is to watch faster players. And you can do this randomly, like find someone like Squishy or Justin or whoever, and just watch all of the content from them that you can as it comes out. Or you can do this, which is super helpful. Go watch someone like that play right before you yourself play. Try to get in that mindset of speedy play, quickness with the ball, and quickness on the walls, all of that. Pretend that you have the same play style and see how much of it you can actually implement. And then the second way to play faster is to spend a lot of time in free play. And pros do this a lot. Like, I'm sure Squishy Muffins and Justin have more hours in free play than I do probably in the entire game. And this is where they work on speed, whether it be warming up those wave dashes or half flips or double touches, or just speed on aerials. It's honestly the best place to build up a faster play style. And if you feel like you're just slow in free play, like you go in and you just can't do what Squishy does, that should tell you something. You're probably slow in game as well, and you need to keep working on it. So just keep grinding, do this for hours if you have to. It's super effective, and it just takes time and effort. Alright guys, I hope you found this one helpful. I know there's tons of stuff I don't know, and I'd love to hear from you if you think I should have added something, or if I was just wrong about something. I know I don't have all the answers, or even most of the answers. So learning from videos like this should be more than just, me telling you a bunch of stuff. It should be a community effort. So make sure to check out the comment section if you're really on the grind to get better. Also, be sure to leave a like if you found this video helpful. It really does a lot to boost the video, and then hopefully more people will see it. So, see you guys next time. Peace out.